Hey folks, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Today we are going to Alaskan Brewing Company and we're going to try their Lo-IPA. It's out of Juneau, Alaska.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. We are back once again to share a beer amongst the three of us and tell you what we think about it. I've got Jay, and the aliens are coming to get him, and I've got Andy in the attic. How big is the mothership? What are we drinking today?
So today we're going to go up to Juneau, Alaska, and we're going to try the Alaskan Brewing Company's Lo-IPA. So I say we crack it and get going.
I agree with that statement.
Ben, did you shake mine?
Yeah, I did a very gentle opening just to. Oh, I see you're tapping.
Yes, I am.
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm always scared and mine's overflowing again. Damn it.
Haven't you looked at the research? You haven't.
Why does mine always seem to explode lately?
I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
Well, you don't want to know. You're wasting your time.
Well, obviously, because it's all over my leg.
It's called Lo-IPA.
Look, yes, the beer is low, the foam is high.
There you go.
We ready?
We're ready.
Sure.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
This is an American IPA. It's 4.5%. And I was thinking, is this a session IPA? They didn't describe it like that on their website. And they did not go into detail on this beer on their website at all.
Wow.
So
that's helpful.
Yeah, I can comment on the actual brewery itself. Alaskan Brewing Company out of Juneau, Alaska. Founded in 1986. Juneau, it's a regional brewery. Juneau is this little stretch of Alaska that the southern portion of Alaska that kind of skirts on the western border of Canada, that part of Alaska. So they were the first brewery in Juneau since Prohibition. So there were some other breweries at the time, but old Prohibition knocked out. One of their claim to fames, they were the first brewery in the United States to install a carbon dioxide recovery system. So they captured the CO2 from their boil and they used that to put it in the cans.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Cool.
And they have a distillery on their site as well. So it was started by a husband and wife. They had moved to Juneau for work, but then I don't know if it was like a temporary work. They didn't go into detail on that, but then they wanted to figure out how to stay there in Juneau because they liked it so much. So they researched and listened to some suggestions, and they learned of the early Alaskan breweries around the area. And then they used some of the recipes in their beers today, some of the older recipes in the times before Prohibition. So they started with a 2,000 square foot building in 1986. And then now they are on over 7 acres of land, their current brewery. And they stayed on the same land where their original brewery was. They just grew on that same area. And they get their water from the Juneau ice field, which is like over 1,500 square miles of ice and glaciers. So getting that pure stuff.
Wow.
I thought it was pretty cool.
It is cool. So I'm sitting here thinking about, you mentioned the first brewery in Alaska since Prohibition, right?
First brewery in Juneau.
In Juneau, okay. I was sitting here thinking, when did Alaska become a state? And then when was Prohibition? I was thinking Alaska became a state in 29, but I'm probably way off.
It became a state after Prohibition, but
Right.
it was a territory.
Okay.
So just like that, they had to follow the same rules.
And that's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
why would they? Yeah. Okay.
Similar to Puerto Rico.
And I don't think it became a state until later than the
50s.
20s. Yeah, it was like the 50s.
Okay.
It was in the 50s.
All right.
That wasn't part of my research. I'm just thinking of high school history.
No, that's cool. All right, I'm going to jump out of a limb here and say that we haven't had this. Nobody has. So I'm going to go first. I brought this back. I got a pack of Alaskan when I was out in Colorado. So we've got a few more from there to review. I assumed this was like a low calorie IPA. That was my assumption. And I'm going to continue that assumption based on what I'm tasting from the beer itself. It seems like a Michelob Ultra IPA combination to me. It seems very watered down. And I mean, it has a little bit of the IPA flavor there, but it's not a whole lot. I don't know that I overly care for it, to be honest. It's
Overly or just at
okay.
all.
I mean, it's okay, but it's not like it's one of those, as you've heard me say on the show before, I don't have to have again.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm going to give it a 4. It's kind of like to me, it's kind of like a macro low calorie IPA, which I guess it's advertised if the low IPA is correct in my thinking, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it's, all that good. So it's 4 for me.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess I can go next. I don't disagree with you, Ben. It's just bland and lacking, and it's funny you said it reminds you of a macro in a lot of ways, because to me it's just run of the mill, not anything special. It's got a little IPA flavor, but and the fact that there's little details on it and the low ABV, I think you're probably hitting the nail on the head that it's tried to be this low calorie or low carb or whatever you want to call it. I know Dogfish did one called Slighty Mighty that's like that, where they use monk fruit to make an IPA, and it's not bad, but it's not something I like. I'm seeking out and going to drink every day, just like this. I won't. So I'm not going to go as far as you. I'm gonna give this a 6, but it's not anything that I'm going to go after.
All right, Andy.
Yeah. First sip, it tasted like a low cal, low ABV, trying to be like a session or an IPA for those who would drink a Michelob Ultra, who are wanting to, on the low cal side. But it's still got some flavor to it. So I wouldn't rate it as low as some of the macros. It still has got the hints of the IPA, and I'm not offended by it. But like you, Ben, it's like if it was in a lineup of different beers, I probably wouldn't go for it. But if somebody handed me one, I'd drink it again. I agree with Jay. I'm going to go with the 6. It's got enough flavor for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think to further expand on my thoughts, it's kind of like a Michelob Ultra for me, and somebody had an IPA flavor packet, right? They just added it. Yeah, that's kind of what it tastes like. It's
I'm sorry, Alaskan Brewing.
I get a little bit of the IPA, but it's just, I don't know. That's how it comes out for me. And I'm not I'm not the IPA guy, as we all know. So but yeah.
Well, we still have the amber and the bay IPA or some base something IPA still coming up from them.
I think we have one. I think we have
Is there another one
four
too?
total.
Was
Yeah,
it
I think it's four total.
okay.
It was a 12-pack.
I haven't gone that
For
far.
each. Yeah.
And
So
who knows the order they'll be released.
this may be the last one.
We'll make sure this one goes first.
That is going to give us a 5.3 for the Alaskan Lo-IPA. If you've had it, let us know what you think. Were we right? Were we off? Were we anywhere close? Love to hear your thoughts on it. And definitely we're excited about the other beer we have from Alaskan coming up. Until then, though, be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. If you've made it this far, come see us in Discord and say hey there, and check us out on the social medias. All those links are down below in the description. So check those out. For Andy in the attic and Jay, I am Ben. Appreciate you guys watching this. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Good mates.